Hello everyone, this is Captain Morgan, and today is September the 6th, 2011, and this is Pirate Video. Again, I just wanted to finish up on my comment on what I was discussing about Syrian conflict, and I have a little back and forth situation here that I have to cut my segments in pieces here. Pertaining to my video that I have to post on YouTube, and I have to cut it down. So you might see some segments might sound a little the same, but again, my point here is that I am bringing out this information that you see on TV every day that you look on with the situation in Syria. As you heard by now with Egypt, and then you had Tunisia, Egypt, and now the civil war with Libya. With Muammar Gaddafi. At present, he seems to be defiant against the supporters. Now, again, in my earlier posts of these shows, I stated that these countries were being destabilized and regimes were being toppled. Now, not by the people themselves. Just overnight decided, well, we want to have a regime change in every these countries that you see. It was also planned. This regime change was planned in this way. Again, as I stated before, this regime change was planned, but also this was stated by Wesley Clark, General Wesley Clark, in 2007, which he stated that is no secret that in Syria has a mark for regime change for the past 2 decades now. Regarding what he called, Wesley Clark, regarding what he called a U.S. policy coup, he relayed a 1991 conversation between himself and then Under Secretary of State Paul Wolfowitz to overthrow and destabilize certain 7 Middle Eastern countries, or 7 countries I should say in particular, and that would be Syria, Iran, Iraq, Somalia, Sudan, Iran, Lebanon, and Libya. Again, this was a pretext for a plan in 1991 under the Clinton administration, or maybe you had George Bush Sr. at the time. But again, don't worry about it, because you have Clinton administration going on to do just as well. Because under 1996, Paul Wolfowitz and Pearl had a book called Securing the Realm, and in this book they describe of what's going to happen in these countries. They were to destabilize and take out these 7 countries in particular, and destabilize these countries and have these governments toppled. Now, what you see now, again in Syria, I'm trying to stay on Syria, is that these countries are now toppled, and Syria, which is next in line, and we might even not only destabilize Syria, but we should have our troops maybe going in there as well, ground troops going in. First, the NATO strikes will come in, sanctions on Syria. The NATO strikes will come in after that, striking the strategic points in Syria. Then maybe all-out assault with NATO forces and U.S. forces. This, of course, is to take out the government of Bashar al-Assad, the president of Syria. And like we took out the other governments, again, I discussed in an earlier segment that we had destabilized these governments because of the regimes. Now, again, it is no secret that these countries all of a sudden, miraculously, the people had decided, well, we want a regime change. It does not work that way. In all these several countries that you see going on, people do not just rise up and say, well, you know what, I want to change my government today, and therefore we're going to march in the streets and topple our governments. Again, this was all staged, pre-planned through 1991 and on. Syrian opposition forces have been Syrian opposition forces have been